Hey guys, Mark Rose here. Want to go over Okeechobee. That was stage 2. Didn't end up to, it never does. Unless I win, it never ends up being what I wanted out of a tournament. But hey, a lot of good points, got some money. I'll take it. With this group of fishermen, anytime you get inside the better half of the field, I'll take it. The guys are so good. But Okeechobee, it has changed a lot. I've been fishing Okeechobee for 21 years of my career. One of my first tournaments ever was right down there at Roland Martin's Marina, and it was an eye-opener. Big lake. It has changed over the years. The hurricanes, the droughts, the floods, all that stuff changes Lake Okeechobee. And this year, I expected a lot of things to be different when I got there, and then I was even more surprised. The lake is stained in a lot of areas. You no longer have that hard line on the outside, which filters a lot of that water in the back. The Monkey Box, Moonshine, North Shore, East Wall, Dice Ditch, all those areas are where tournaments typically are won. The bulk of the weight comes from there. It didn't let down this year. The tournament was won on kind of not really an off-the-wall spot. Jacob found a spot right near Tin House and that upper north. I'm not exactly sure where it was, but it was somewhere up there in between, say, Tin House and the river, in that Buckhead Ridge type area. So that was one of the few times where kind of went against the grain of it being won in one of those. But the bulk of the weight was in those typical areas. And I got there, learned real quick that I had to find some clear water. They bed from November to March on Lake Okeechobee. So I knew there was gonna be some fish bedding, and that's always what you look for, especially on one of these deals, Major League Fishing event, where you can pull up to an area where a lot of bucks move in and just catch 2-pounder after 2-pounder, just like we saw Jacob do on that final championship day. He got in an area where they were coming, and man, he blistered them, and even caught some big ones in there. But that's what I knew I had to look for. It was hard to find. I did find a couple. I just rode the entire lake basically and looked for that clean water, found 2 or 3 areas. I camped out in them the first day, and they're just getting a lot of pressure, a lot of guide boats, a lot of local pressure was in there. And I didn't catch them real good, but I was sitting, in striking distance, inside of the cut, well within striking distance to make the championship round. Day 2, I go out and I say, you know what, I'm just going to, sometimes I have my best events if I scratch everything and just go run to some new water. And I kind of realized late after practice that we could fish that river where you lock out in Moore Haven. There's a long river that goes all the way to the coast. And I said, well, there's not going to be a lot of pressure down there. I'm just going to scrap everything and run down there in day 2. Well, because I didn't feel like, I felt like if I went and did what I did in day 1, I was just going to kind of be scratching and clawing just to maintain status quo, and that's never my mentality in one of these tournaments. So I did go to one of my best areas in round 1 and said, let me just see how it goes. A lot of competitors, a lot of guides, tournament fishermen, all that. So I just said, no, I'm gone. So I run down there, run to Moore Haven, lock through. What I didn't realize was all of my competitors had the same idea, and they did do their homework, and they did know that you could lock down. And so I went down there, and I have fished down there in the past. Used to, I would go to Okeechobee and actually break in my boat down there because it would be my first tournament. I'd pick up my boat and then I'd go straight to Okeechobee because everybody knows I crappie fish all winter. I don't do any bass fishing. So I'm not even thinking about tournament fishing until I go to Lake Okeechobee. And that's where I'd go break in my boat. Well, I have learned some areas down there over the years that I had a lot of confidence in. So I go down there, start running into the guys that are doing good in the tournament. So I'm behind the 8 ball on that deal. But I get in one area and I said, there's got to be some fish, fresh fish coming in. And I lock down It didn't take a whole lot that day, and I did pick up a Strike King, this Strike King Rage Crawl on the back of a swim jig, 1/4 ounce, put it on 17 pound, and man, I just went fishing, covering a lot of water, trying to get them to come up and react. I caught a couple on that, but what that does a lot of times when they're bed fishing or when they're bedding is they'll come up and you'll feel them slap at it and you'll miss them. That's when I would pick up a Strike King Rage Bug. This is my absolute favorite bait to flip. It's my favorite bait to bed fish with. Anytime, fish boat docks, all that. I just catch so many fish on a Strike King Rage Bug. I fish it with a 4/0 Mustad KBD wide gap grip pin hook. The reason I like the grip pin is because of that right there. You can't pull it off, it stays up there. But a 4/0 hook, it's so efficient. I've caught so many fish on this setup. I use anywhere from a 1/4, 3/8, 5/16 ounce weight, just depending on how shallow and all that good stuff. But that's what I would pitch back in there on the beds with, and caught enough to, again, have a good tournament. Made the first MLF Cup, stayed in there with some good points. So anytime you have a bad, I feel like I had a bad tournament down there, and to have a bad tournament and still stay where I did, I'll take it. Again, good points, good money. If I had it to do all over again, I would have read my rules, for one, and saw that I could go down in that river, and I might have started down there and built up a big enough lead to where it didn't take as much weight the second day, and possibly had a much better tournament. But I probably spent that time at home crappie fishing and not reading rules, so I didn't know, and there you have it. I'll take what I got. But thank the good Lord for a good finish. I'm blessed, man, to have made that first cup with this bunch. I'll take it. To have 2 tournaments where I feel like I feel like they were bad, and to finish where I did. God's good. We're going to try to finish stage 3, which is at Lake Fork, and then Raleigh in stage 4, and try to make that next cup. Continue the roll, maybe even pick it up just a little bit. So thank you guys for following, and we're going to go on, see if we can't make something better happen in stage 3. God bless you.